Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Mother Sai. My name is Tharsica and I'm from Merton Sai Centre. I feel so grateful for having this opportunity to share my experiences with Swami. From a young age, I've attended Bal Vikas classes, but I would say my journey really began during Samahima dance programs in 2000 and 2004. For Samahima 5 in 2004, I was part of the Ganesh scene and the Medicare scene. I will now narrate the story of the Medicare scene because this links into my future experiences. I was the mother of a child who had a brain tumour. She kept having fits, so we took her to the local hospitals for her fits to be reviewed. After reviewing her, the doctors informed us that she would need surgery for her brain tumour. However, this came with a cost, and it was too expensive for us to afford for the surgery. We left the hospitals feeling depressed and lost on what to do. And as we were walking down the street, we met a SAI devotee who asked us why we looked so depressed. I explained the situation to her and that my child had a brain tumour, but we just simply couldn't afford the treatment. She told us not to worry, because there is Sathya Sai Baba who lives in Puttaparthi, and he has opened a super speciality hospital that provides free healthcare to all. So immediately we made our way there, and with Swami's grace, the surgery was successful. The child in the story, many years later, studied medicine, became a doctor, and worked in Swami's super speciality hospital. Little did I know at that point in Medicare scene that that child was going to be me, and it was Swami's plans all along for me to study medicine, become a doctor, and thereafter work in his super speciality hospital. I was so grateful for having that time to work there, and during my last week in Swami's hospital, I was given a chance to sing a Ganesha bhajan, and it was such a lovely way to start my training as a junior doctor. When I applied for medicine, I submitted my applications and I was waiting to hear the outcome. As I was waiting, one of my Sai sisters informed me that she was going to Prasanthi, so I decided to write a letter to Swami and hand it over to my Sai sister, and I asked her if she had a chance to give it to Swami. So days were going by and I received my first rejection. I remember on that day, everything felt like it turned upside down. I kept questioning everything. Why me? I achieved really good grades in my exams, my personal statement was fine. So what was wrong? Why did I have to have that rejection? And I remember looking at Swami's picture and thinking, why me? Why me? I just simply couldn't comprehend why that was happening to me. So I then happened to check my email, and an email had come through. The Sai sister in Prasanthi emailed me to let me know that Swami took my letter that morning and read it. I felt a sense of relief and I felt more reassured. And at that point, I thought, I'm leaving it to Swami. He knows what's best for me. So I continued waiting patiently, and one evening, Swami appeared in my dream. He was walking so gracefully and stood in front of me. He then looked at me and said, "Come and see me when you finish." So I took Pada Namaskar, and the dream ended there. The next morning, I felt so much warmth in my heart. And it was as though I already knew that I was going to get an offer, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So I jumped onto my laptop and I was looking through my emails to see if I received anything. And an email came at that point, and the email confirmed that I had an offer for medicine from Leicester. I was over the moon, and at that point I knew that Swami was there the whole time. It was a test, but he wanted me to be patient. And I learned from that experience that sometimes it's best to be patient because his timing is always perfect and he always knows what's best for us. So in my second year of medical school, we moved into a flat where we had no running water, no internet, the hobs weren't working. So we used to go to the gym to have a shower and then go to the library to use the Wi-Fi. So you can imagine how low I felt at that point and how stressed I felt. So I was simply just reaching out for help and I just didn't know what to do. One of the youth from Leicester Centre then approached me and she asked me if I would like to sing for centre budgeons. So I immediately jumped at that opportunity because anything would help me at that point. So when I finished singing for budgeons that day, an uncle mentioned in conversation that there was a new Shirdi temple that had opened near my place, only 5 minutes away. I had never prayed to Shirdi at that time, didn't know much about Shirdi then. But because I felt so low, I was happy to go anywhere. So I then started attending Shirdi temple on a regular basis. And a few months went by, I passed my exams, and just when the year came to an end, I thought I need a massive break because that year was so stressful for me. So my sister and I were planning to go to Rome. So we booked the leave and we started filling out the form. And just when we were so close to pressing submit, my phone rang. So I picked up my phone and the national president at the time asked me if I would like to play the violin and sing in Prasanthi. It had always been my dream to do this and I immediately said yes. So Swami had blessed me with so many opportunities during that trip because I had a chance to play and sing in Kulwant Hall as well as Trey in Brindavan. But that experience showed me that I went through so many difficulties that year, but because I had passed that test from Swami, he rewarded me at the end, and I'm so grateful for all his love. I will now conclude with my final experience. So I visited one of my uni friends in Aberdeen, and my journey there was absolutely fine. But on my way back, that's where it all happened. So our plane was stuck for a while and we hadn't landed at that point. So I was wondering what had happened. They then made an announcement that there was a suspected fuel leak at Birmingham Airport, which meant that we couldn't land there. So they were diverting our plane to Manchester Airport, where I had never been before. So it was 9 p.m. at that point, and all these thoughts were running around in my head. I was thinking, how am I going to go home? How am I going to make my way back to Leicester? It's so late. So I was starting to panic. And then when we had landed at Manchester Airport, I immediately called my mum. So when my mum answered, I told her that I was stuck and this was the situation. And my mum's reply was, we literally just prayed for you at Wimbledon Ganapati Temple and you're telling us that you're stuck. But don't worry, I know Lord Ganesh is going to protect you. So I felt so lost at that point and I thought the only way that I could get out of this, or the only person that could help me, was Swami. So I just started chanting the Gayatri Mantra over and over again. And as I was chanting and chanting, I felt someone place their hand on my shoulder. So I then turned around and I saw the air hostess and she asked me if I was okay. And I explained how I've never been to Manchester before. I have work the next day. I have no idea how I'm going to make my way back to Leicester and it's 9 p.m. So she gently smiled at me and said, don't worry, I'll take you home. When we go to Manchester, we will have to get the coach to Birmingham, but don't worry, I've parked my car there, so I'll take you back home. I only live half an hour away from Leicester. From this experience, it really taught me the power of Gayatri Mantra and how Swami made sure that I reached home safely. From all of these experiences, I've learned about patience, determination, and surrender. Whenever you really want something, work hard and it will happen in its own timing. Swami knows what is best for us and he will always make it happen in his own timing because his timing is perfect. Sai Ram.